Meister wie Bjarne Riis, der Tour de France-Sieger vom letzten Jahr, selber im Klassement jetzt auf Platz 3 so stark für mich gefahren ist. Also das ist, ich kann ihm gar nicht genug danken.
Apple. Anfetaminas, speed, steroides, hashes, heroïnes, cocaïnes, skunk, crack, pot, opium, LSD, fantasy, and morphenes. Also for polemische contacts.
A little bit of comedy at the start there. Everyone's on the gas. Everyone's juiced to the gills. If you want to be a champion of any sport, cycling, swimming, running, you've got to get on the good stuff. If you don't dope, you won't cope. If you don't take it, you won't make it. Flashback to 1996. I remember watching this Tour de France in Nambour, Queensland, Australia. What a legendary Tour de France it was. Bjarne Riis wanting to race to the death. Faces of death up Hautacam. Bjarne Riis just sort of foxing with the audience there, foxing with the crew. And apparently he ran a 46 that day. He ran a 46 big ring, so he could just stay in the big ring and save weight on his bike. Bjarne Riis was one of the OG weight weenies. He was the guy who would run titanium bolts in his bike. He was the first to use lightweight wheels, and he was just a full-on weight weenie. Full-on weight weenie. Bjarne Riis was the legend and is a legend of Danish cycling, as is Michael Rasmussen, many others. But in terms of, we're going to focus on the Tour de France contenders here. We have Jonas Vingegaard and Bjarne Riis, Michael Rasmussen. So it's just a deal, you know. It's just, if you don't take it, you won't make it, man. All right, people. It's just how it is. All right, it always has been, always will be. It's professional sport. So here we have, look at this Riis, mate, ripping up the climb. Now, remember, on this day there was only this climb. It was just Hautacam. Okay. So that's why Bjarne Riis, his time is, you know, so quick. One, it's the only climb of the day. All right, and two, he's really racing to cement his gap in the Tour de France. With Jonas the other day, stage 18, 2022, they had done 3 climbs. Yeah, 3 climbs. They did Orbisk, the Sandy Cheryl's, whatever it was, and then the Hautacam. So they did 3 climbs total. Okay, on Bjarne Riis's day, we did the crazy watts per kilo. That was just one stage. Okay, that's just one climb. There's just one climb. So the context there is huge. Bjarne Riis was also one of the early pioneers of training with a power meter. Right, you'll see on some of his bikes he's using an SRM back in the day. Okay, so he really understood how to maximize watts per kilo. Someone said the other day, Jonas is only 60 kilos, Lance is 70. That's why Jonas can go quicker than Lance, and that these people don't understand watts per kilo. If I am 80 kilos and I'm doing 6 watts per kilo, and the rider next to me is 45 kilos and they're doing 5.99 watts per kilo, I will drop them up the climb. You know, up a 30-minute climb, I will drop them, even though they're 30, 40 kilos less than me. Watts per kilo is watts per kilo. Okay, if you're riding side by side. Now, if you're drafting, different story. So people don't understand that. They think just because you're lighter means you go faster. No. It's watts per kilo, right? It's watts per kilo. Why can I beat Natasha up the climbs? Is because I put out higher watts per kilo. Natasha's about 20 kilos less than me, but I put out more watts per kilo. It's not that I put out more power, you know, because you could put out 2 watts extra, so it's more power. It's not about putting out more power. It's having better watts per kilo, people. Better watts per kilo on the climb. That's what wins. That's what wins the climbs. You know, assuming you can downhill, assuming you can stay in contact. So that's the deal there. This is iconic footage, isn't it? Jan Ulrich, you know, looks like Jimenez there on the right, and you've got the eagle from Herning, aka Bjarne Riis, Danish cycling legend, 1997 too. I remember this bike throw. I really didn't understand. So disc brake road bike. You know, he's a family man, Bjarne Riis. All right. So anyway, that's the deal, people. All right. look at the face, man. Look at the face of Bjarne Riis at Hautacam, and look at the face of Jonas. Jonas is faster, man. Jonas is faster than Bjarne Riis. Right? Bjarne Riis was, a freak, but Jonas is even a bigger freak, man. The talent Jonas has, okay? He's gone from 8th in the Tour of Poland to 2nd at the Tour de France. That's a pretty big step up. Okay, it just goes to show you the physiology that Jonas has. Okay, but again, this is the recipe. It's the protocol. You got to follow the protocols. You got to follow the recipe. If you want to win, if you want to provide for your family, you got to do whatever they say you got to do, and do it well, and keep the show running. This is how it is, man. It's pro sport, people. It's pro sport.